Take it away, Kwai.
I don't even know where you're sitting at.
You're listening to your favorite podcaster's favorite podcast with David and
That's Kane. That's just Kane.
You think you'll still have a wife after this?
Yeah, I think I'll go to listen to the first 5 minutes and she's like, what is this?
Oh boy,
dribble?
What have I done? Who have I married?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was our demo intro.
Yeah.
Right?
I think it was pretty good.
It was pretty good. I would say probably not the most professional way to start a new podcast.
I think as the first go kind of thing, we got to try a few things out. So I'm happy with that.
Our Twitter handle is yourFPFP. So I used our Twitter and I messaged LeBron James and I invited him over. I said, hey, look, LeBron, we're just two guys from Sydney, Australia. We're starting a new podcast and it'd be really fantastic if you could somehow make your way over here.
You did say the 21st or 28th of October. Today is the 20th of October, Saturday in Australia.
Yeah.
And he just, technically it's off day for him because he just did play a game against in Portland.
Has he tweeted us back at all?
No, he hasn't.
It feels like he's probably not going to be able to make it to our first show.
Maybe start small. Maybe LeBron James is probably the most famous basketball player, if not person in the world right now. So maybe let's start small. Let's get Mason Plumlee.
For our dear listeners, aka our family.
Close family.
Our close family.
Yeah.
Should we give them a bit of context to sort of our basketball? Because you mentioned Mason Plumlee, who I would imagine 99% of our listeners and basketball fans would not care about, or maybe potentially don't even know who that is. Yeah. Why did you mention this person in particular?
They know the Plumlee. Plumlees have kind of a rich basketball history from Duke, all the players from Duke. There's Mason Plumlee, there's Miles Plumlee. Anyway, that's off track. For me, I've been a basketball or NBA fan since probably the early 2000s. And I think I can track that directly to when I started watching the Nets play early in, saying 1999, 2000, 2001 kind of thing. When the Nets had Jason Kidd and I think it was Richard Jefferson and Kerry Kittles. I can't even remember all those guys. I feel bad now, but I love the underdog story. I love them going up against the Lakers. I love them going against the Spurs. And then just from that point forward, I just that's my team. And then in late 2003, they got Vince Carter, and I think all 90s kids knows Vince Carter.
Yeah.
He's a legend. Yeah. And when we got him in 2003, I was like, I'm hooked. This is my team.
Wow, that's an incredibly moving, touching, and very pathetic story. And unfortunately, obviously growing outside of Toronto, the Raptors were a team I followed, but my favorite team were the New York Knicks. So this is in the mid-90s. Unfortunately, I picked them at a wrong time because that was peak Knicks. And for the next 25 years and counting, they have been a joke franchise.
But you don't support the Knicks.
And it took me a long time to get over that fandom. So eventually I stopped supporting the Knicks after the Starberry era. To start the show, should we just, first of all, let's just keep it real and just congratulate the 2019 NBA champions, the Golden State Warriors?
I haven't looked it up, but if I were a betting man, and neither of us are, but I reckon the odds would be if you placed a bet of $1, you get $1.05 back.
It's not fair.
It's not fair.
I don't know why they're doing this to LeBron. So the question for fans then is, what are we going to do for the rest of the season, right? How are we going to occupy our time from now till June?
So the teams that I'm most interested in this year, I'm going to say, and let me preface this by saying I am a diehard, what is going to keep me going through the season is watching the Nets improve.
Oh, that's so pathetic.
Seeing where the Nets will stand at the end of the year. Because it could go so, I don't want to get into it because actually the Nets are one of my teams. I actually split with the Nets and the Knicks because they're in a similar trajectory. I think they're both in a kind of similar boat in terms of where their franchises are at.
Let's just talk about the Nets for a second, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and read out the net starters and see if you know who these people are, okay? And by the way, no disrespect to the Nets. let's just keep
A
it
little bit
real
disrespect.
here. A little bit of disrespect. Jay Harris. What is that? Who is this? Who is Jay Harris?
Yeah, just the initials of the first name.
Just the initials.
Jay Harris, yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna give our listeners a second to think about who this Jay Harris is. Okay, so if you answered I don't know, that is actually the correct answer. Because as a true basketball fan, you should not know who Jay Harris is. Who is Jay Harris, Kane?
Joe Harris. His name is Joe Harris is a basketballer. He plays shooting guard, small forward for the Nets. He is, I think, 6'8", 6'7", 6'8". He is a lockdown three-point shooter. Very good. He recently signed, I'm not even looking this up. He recently signed a 2-year contract, I think worth, I'm going to say $9 million, but it might be more, maybe $16 million, which is not much in the current NBA market. So I think it was a bit of a discount to get a lockdown three-point shooter. He's improved his defense, he's improved his rebounding. He's a player that kind of plays like Steph Curry in a way, like if you imagine Steph Curry taking over a game, he's going to draw you out with three-point shooting. He's going to draw the defense out to, try to make you block that shot, and then he'll run past you and get a layup. He's tall enough and lean enough to go in for a layup against one-on-one.
Let's imagine there's no Nets. Would this Jay Harris person that you described, would he have a job in the NBA?
Yes, definitely.
Well,
the fact that he can shoot, he is literally a very good three-point shooter. Like, very good three-point shooter. I can actually imagine him on the Warriors, like, as a bench player, but, like, he would be that kind of player on the Warriors where, now Joe Harris is coming and he's gonna, provide even more shooting. Like, as a backup to Clay or something.
Jay Dudley. This is Jared Dudley.
Yeah.
Who's probably, is he 40 years old at this point?
He's not young, but I don't think he's that old.
Okay, next is Jay Allen. He is a center, and I have no idea who this person is.
Okay.
Let's give our listeners just a brief moment here to think about who this person is. Jay Allen. I'm now going to reveal the answer. If they answered I don't know, that is the correct answer. So who's Jay Allen?
I think this is a biased opinion, but I think Jared Allen, he is going to be not a household name, but a player kind of Andre Drummond level, where you know about him and he's a good player kind of thing, or Brook Lopez, that kind of level where you know who he is. Maybe not an all-star, but he's gonna be a very, very, very good player in a couple years. I asked you to watch the highlights of that first game, Pistons versus the Nets.
I thought I was watching a EuroLeague game because I don't recognize any of the players.
Because one of the first highlights on that video is Jared Allen blocking Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin going in for a highlight dunk.
Yes, and I saw that.
And Jared Allen blocking the shot and forcing the ball to go off Blake Griffin, so then they get the possession back. The Nets get possession, sorry. Okay.
So the next one, D. Russo. Okay. So this one is the obvious and easy one. So what do you think about D'Angelo?
I'm a bit mixed. I think. Okay, let's both agree that. Oh, can we both agree that the Nets trading for D'Angelo Russell was a good move from the GM Sean Marks? In fact, if it was just black and white, yes, no, good trade, not good trade.
What did they trade him for?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Well, if you had to get particular, they traded a first-round pick. Brook Lopez and somebody else for Mozgov and D'Angelo Russell. So Mozgov went to the Nets and D'Angelo Russell went to the Nets.
Right.
So for the Lakers, it was unloading Mozgov so they could get into the Lakers. So for the Lakers to get enough cap space to get LeBron this past summer.
Yeah.
In America, and so it was good for the Lakers, but also they had to kind of split it apart. You can't just give Mozgov away. So they gave D'Angelo Russell as a player that they didn't have plans for the future because they were going to draft Lonzo Ball. Fair enough. Good for Lakers. They get rid of an albatross of a contract.
My initial reaction would be that it's a bad trade, but because I trust Sean Marks so much, I think it's a good trade.
Yeah. I think ultimately what makes it a bad trade is because that first round pick turned out to be Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma was the player that was selected with the pick that was formerly with the Nets.
What pick was that?
I think it was 27th.
Yeah, but that's, you can't blame the Nets for that.
No, you can't. Yeah, no, I'm not saying, but what I'm saying, like eventually, would become like a bad trade is because D'Angelo Russell was in line for a contract extension this year. You saw his brother and like best friend D-Book get a max contract, and D-Book was selected, I'm guessing like 13th in that draft, while D'Angelo Russell was selected second. I mean, D'Angelo Russell, I've seen interviews, he's so down to earth, he's so humble. People call him a snitch. I don't like that. I take personal offense to that. But, I think, the fact that he's able to support one of his best friends probably just in general, and he's waiting for his contract extension. He's trying to prove himself that he's worth a lot of money. There's another player who's probably the last player on the starting lineup. His name is Karis LeVert.
Oh my God!
I didn't know if listeners know Karis LeVert.
They actually don't. And no one
was
knows.
A 4-year starter in Michigan. He was injured in his last year with the Wolverines. Is that what the Michigan's team called? I think they're called Michigan Wolverines. That's what made him drop to the Nets. Where the Nets had like the 22nd overall pick or something that year, and they picked Karis LeVert. Karis LeVert this season is my pick to be most improved player. Not officially, but he's definitely, like, if I had to give a top 3 list, Karis LeVert is in the most improved. Already in 2 games this season, he's the Nets' leading scorer. Averaging
27 points a game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's one game. He got 27 points against the Pistons, which matches a career high. He's just the guy. Like, he actually, for the Nets, he's the guy that is finishing games. He's the guy that you want on the end of the floor because he's long. He's 6'7". He can defend really well. He can rebound. He can drive to the ring. He can dunk it. He can pass it too, actually. Like, he was actually listed as a point guard coming out. Like a point guard, shooting guard kind of player. I mean, he has a lot of potential, and I think, yeah.
We're recording this during the Knicks and Nets game. It's tied right now with 15 seconds to go, 105-105.
Oh.
And LeVert has 26 points.
Oh, okay. So,
Interesting.
Hopefully he can get the 28th point and the game winner.
Right. So anyway, what we learned from this segment is of the Nets starters, we only know D'Angelo Russell, and we are wondering why Dudley is even starting on any team.
I told you.
And the other players, we concluded that we should not know them at all.
Oh, the Nets have other players on the roster that people would know, though. Okay, my third team is the Mavericks.
Oh boy.
If I had to give...
So can we just, for context for our listeners, Kane's other love of his life is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And there's something about teams that have histories with like sexual harassment that you seem to like gravitate to.
Is this Mark Cuban? Oh!
What? They won.
Karis LeVert, as I said, Karis LeVert, 1 second
bastard.
left, scores a layup.
You bastard.
You want to watch this so you get educated on Karis LeVert?
But don't stop this. Let's just keep it recording.
So just a bit of play-by-play analysis. Actually, this just happened and the replay will come up. Karis LeVert at the top of the key, dribbles past Tim Hardaway, goes in with the right hand, pump fakes it over Kevin Knox, and then banks it off the top.
And
flexes at the end. This is number 22 for the Nets. That pump fake, like he's long, right? So he's long, and he draws the contact, and there was no foul though. Right? Player all over him, Tim Hardaway's all over him, and he still banks it high off the glass. To be honest, it shouldn't be this close.
As in the Nets shouldn't be this close.
The Nets are...
They suck.
Yeah, the Knicks suck even more.
Do the Knicks suck more than the Nets? Like the Knicks at least have...
Yeah, who?
I mean, at least they have like players that you know, like Cantor or Tom Jr.
How come?
What do you mean? Like, I'm serious. Like, this is not a joke, right?
Yeah.
The Nets have players that no one should know. Like, the answer is it should be I don't know those players.
But I just want to make this on point because I might bring it up again, but maybe not. Kenny Atkinson
he's good.
The most important piece on the court right now. Sean Marks is the most important person in the franchise, but Kenny Atkinson is the mastermind behind this resurgence, if you will, or this potential resurgence this season. So inbound pass.
Oh my God.
3-point shoot. Oh, it looked good from our TV angle, but the Nets win. It clanks off the side of the backboard, and the Nets close game in Brooklyn though. Okay, so coming back to the Mavericks.
So let's talk about the Mavericks and Kane's history with rooting for teams that harbors sexual predators.
They got, I think the most intriguing player is Luka Doncic, the rookie from Slovenia, who is
MVP.
EuroLeague MVP at 19 years old. So he played against men.
That's crazy.
Like, would you say EuroLeague players are better than college players? Like the best,
I think
the All-Star college team maybe can beat the All-Star EuroLeague team.
Yeah.
But like most EuroLeague teams, like in the top, like say the top 8 EuroLeague teams, any one of those 8 teams could probably beat maybe the top 8 college teams.
I think that's the general feeling out there, is that EuroLeague is more competitive at the top level.
The men, like they're actually like,
at the top
25,
level.
26 prime, in the prime men, as opposed to 18, 19-year-old kids. The coach, we all know, he's a legend, he's an icon, he'll make the Hall of Fame one day, Rick Carlisle.
So Luke, the thing that threw me off a bit about Luka, what's his name? Luka Doncic.
Doncic. It's D-O-N-C-I-C.
The thing that threw me with Luka is during media day, we had pictures of him, and he seems a bit chubby to me.
You know what? Yeah, I agree.
At 19 years old, right? It's like, which could be fine. That means
I think it's fine. I agree with you. Maybe that's just in his genes. Like he needs to work out a bit more to lose that kind of. But that could also just be baby fat as well.
he's got a bit of a Jared Dudley body.
Yeah, okay, I can see what you're saying. Because like, as opposed to like Giannis Antetokounmpo, who was like really skinny, and he needed to get into the gym to add weight and bulk.
Yeah. But
Doncic looks like a guy that, he's really tall, obviously, he's like 6'9", 6'10".
It's like if you took JJ Barrera and then you sort of
stretched them out.
In Photoshop just stretched them out.
Which is a sin for designers out there. You don't just stretch someone out.
Although you have to stretch them out and then like shrink the head a bit.
Oh yeah, a little bit of, shrink and liquefy. I think...
I guess what I'm saying is he definitely looks strong, right? He's strong, but he's lacking a bit in muscle definition. So I'll have to follow him this season, see his game. Is it... does he have the speed and agility?
I agree. No, I definitely agree. I think he kind of reminds me of Ben Simmons as like a very, very, very poor man. Ben Simmons is a superstar. Like he was on the verge of superstar last year. He is a superstar this season. Doncic to me has a lot of the same qualities as Ben Simmons. Like if on a good night, like right now in his rookie season, on a good night, Doncic could look like Ben Simmons, where he can dribble the ball up, pass it to alley-oop it to DeAndre Jordan, pass it out to shooters like Wes Matthews and Dennis Smith Jr. He's got shooters around him. He can control the ball. He can. But the difference is he can actually shoot. Like he can actually be a very good shooter. His 3-point game is not like no joke. Not that he's like that's his strength, I think, but I think he can be a very really valuable player offensively because of his of his shooting. Well, Ben Simmons is not a great shooter, but he can still get to the paint with ease. He can pass it around. But defensively, Ben Simmons is a beast. Like he can guard all 5 positions. He's like 6'10", 6'11", can guard. I mean, apart from like big centers, Ben Simmons, I mean, he's a top 5 player in the East for sure. Anyway, those are my 3 teams. I want to get to yours actually, because I feel those teams are teams I would have chosen.
Yeah. Now, I'm not gonna, since I've done no research, I'll probably not go into detail on these teams.
I can help you out a bit, I think.
Yeah, but the team that I can't wait until next May or April to watch is the Utah Jazz.
Oh.
Utah Jazz. Right. On this team, they have 2006 Dwayne Wade, aka Donovan Mitchell.
2006.
That's
2006 was the year they won the championship,
that they
right?
won. Where I witnessed Dwayne Wade literally as a young player take over the games to win. And that's exactly what I saw out of Donovan last year, right?
As a rookie, mind you.
As a rookie against Westbrook, against PG-13, against a well-coached and mature OKC team. Right? Mitchell. So he's a real deal. I think he's definitely the real deal. So also on that team, Rudy Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year. Awesome to watch.
I mean, 7'3",
right.
center.
So you match Dwayne Wade with a Defensive Player of the Year. automatically right there, that's an interesting team right there. But there's more. There's Rubio, except this is all levels unlocked Rubio. It's Rubio in the best situation possible for him. So obviously Rubio coming out of Europe, lots of hype, lots of expectations, and maybe he hasn't lived up to these expectations. But in Utah, this is the perfect place for him.
What I liked about this team actually, I like how international they are.
I love this team.
So like you said, Ricky Rubio's the starting point guard. He's Spanish. Donovan Mitchell, he's American. Joe Ingles, small forward.
Exactly. We haven't even mentioned Joe Ingles, aka school teacher, aka PG-13 neutralizer. He's giving PG-13 the business.
Staring him down.
Staring him down.
Yeah.
Three.
That's right. Ingles, he's Australian. Favors, American. Favors, you want anything to add? Favors? He's a former 3rd overall pick from the New Jersey Nets.
Fantastic. Well, he's going to be fantastic now that he's off the Nets, right?
A long time ago.
Yeah.
He's been on the Jazz for a while now. But I think he's a mid. He's because he got drafted when he was really young out of Georgia Tech. He was 19, I think, and he kind of like had the potential to be a really good player, but don't know what happened to him.
And they have 2 other sneaky, interesting players on their team. One, Grayson Allen, aka ankle breaker, forearm shiver. All right, this is a player that I hated when he was in college, right?
Duke.
And for years and years, he was on Duke. Just typical, the Duke story, right?
And he also played. I think he played 4 years at Duke as well.
Plays 4 years.
Generally, players that get to an NBA and played 4 years aren't massive contributors.
And has a history of playing dirty, basically. But the fact that now he's on Utah, I think it's a fantastic fit for him. And really, this is a player that, if you're not on his team, you hate, right? If I didn't care about Duke or any of these other teams, I'd hate this player. But now that he's on Utah, this is a player that you will love to have on your team because he's going to play way harder than anyone else. Right?
Okay.
He knows he's not going to out-talent you. He's going to outwork you.
I think he'll get some game time, but I think it'll be between a few games because he's third on the depth chart behind and at shooting guard spot behind Mitchell and Alec Burks.
And that's fine.
And Exum as well will get some time at shooting guard.
But if you need a player to put in the game, just muck it up a little bit.
He's tall as well. I think he's like 6'9".
And the last one, of course, is the X-Man, Dante Exum, who I checked. I have done my research on this particular player. Okay. And interestingly, he is the highest Utah player in recent memory in terms of draft. He was picked number 5.
He was picked number 5. Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I was saying like that the Jazz drafted?
The Jazz drafted.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing.
This is a player that so he was drafted in 2014, right? You don't hear really much about him. He's been injured.
No. Like the Utah Jazz are a top 5 Western Conference team, and the highest drafted player is Dante Exum.
The last team
is probably the most interesting. I thought this was a team that you were going to lead off.
No, I didn't. I mean, this is just too easy because everyone will be interested in this team. This is the Lakers, obviously, with LeBron. And I really have nothing to say about this team other than the fact that
I have so much to say about this team.
Really? Okay.
I was going to choose this team, because I knew you were going to choose this team, so I picked other teams. I am going to say that I can't in recent memory remember a team where this season is irrelevant. Usually when the season starts, your team has certain objectives, right? Whether it's like developing young players, doing this, trying to work towards a trade or something like that. To me, I might be wrong, but Lakers have no discernible season goals this season. The only thing they're doing is looking forward to next season when there are going to be free agents available, superstar free agents available where they could, sign because they got cap space to sign. I think up to 2, maybe, or maybe definitely 1, but maybe 2, 1, where they can sign one signature free agent, whether that be Kawhi Leonard, Anthony Davis is on his last year's contract, but he could be traded. And I think that's what makes it interesting because this team interesting because it's a bit of a lost year in terms we know the Warriors are going to win, so why bother? LeBron James isn't going to waste so much of his energy into a season where he knows he's not going to win more than any other year. And also, this is the first year LeBron James is not going to the finals. This is the first. Can you imagine? Like with
I can't imagine.
For kids that like started to be
The generation.
generation. Basically, if you're 9 years old when LeBron went to his first finals, and then now you're 16,
That's
pretty much
insane.
your entire
That's
like
insane.
time when you're like your childhood like that you've known, LeBron James has been in the finals.
Let's just say it. He's the greatest player ever.
Oh yeah, of course.
Let's just say it.
Yeah, of course.
Like seriously.
I think we should talk about this later though, because
We'll talk about it later.
I like to be devil's advocate for that.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sold on. I agree with you. I'm inclined to agree with you now because
8 straight finals.
8 straight finals is a achievement, but only winning I think 3 of them at the time.
I don't hold that against him.
No, I don't hold that against him.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's a black mark or anything, but it's not 6 for 6.
Yeah.
6 for 6 is a bit different.
Well, that's really all we had today. We went way over in terms of time. So there's lots of topics we didn't get into, including Road to 2022, which is Kane's wet dream. That somehow the Nets will win the NBA championships in 2022.
A theory.
In theory.
Thank you to my lovely wife who's probably cleaning my house. Our house at the moment while I do this podcast.
Oh.
But no, I think it's been fun. Like I think this keeps us going. So yeah.
Goodbye.